them other people are, you know, you ain't gonna find howdy nowhere.
Them other people. I hear you. That's awesome.
Hello, hello, Dreaming Heroes.
Yes, welcome, buddy.
Welcome. Just giving a minute for people to arrive here. Speaking about the Southern language, Southern United States, right? Liking Texas and the like. I know there's a great one that I like is y'all. Y'all.
Y'all?
That's from there too, yeah?
Where are y'all going?
Y'all.
I don't know.
All y'all.
Where are y'all going? All y'all. Yeah, all y'all is a bit redundant, isn't it?
I know, it's funny. Oh, great. Fantastic. And we have
Welcome, Olo.
Special guest on the line here.
Hey, everyone.
Special guest.
Howdy.
Hi. Brilliant. Okay. So, should we get this party started? 2 minutes past start time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we can start.
Okay. God calling. The pizza being delivered.
While you guys start, I'm gonna jump.
I'm not going to get that. Okay. So. Oh, we lost you, Viking. Okay.
Oh no, I was just saying I'm gonna
right.
on
So
Twitter and try to pull.
Hello
pull
and
down.
welcome to Pandora. Some people, okay. Thank you for that. Remind people too. We have a very family tonight. So, with a very special guest. So, starting again. Hello and welcome to Pandora's Box Official AMA. This is Crypto Mystic, and thank you so much for joining us, whether you are with us live or listening to the replay. We're so glad you're here. And we understand that your time is valuable, so we promise we'll do our utmost to make this worth your while. We have some important today, and you'll be hearing from one of our Unbox Pandora advisors, the one and only Deckard Gain. And you'll also want to stay until the end because we will give you a clue for tomorrow's riddle. So on today's AMA, you'll hear the most recent development regarding the token. We will also be initiating the creative contest. So you'll get all the details about that in a little bit. And we'll share our new AMA schedule and format. You can ask your questions relevant to each announcement after each segment. We'll answer questions as we go, and after all the announcements are done, we'll open the call, so in case your question pertains to a topic we haven't covered yet, you'll get a chance to ask your questions at that time. So let's start with the token. Suryan, would you like to share with us the latest news on that?
Yeah, sure. So as was mentioned in prior announcements and AMAs, that we had some problem with the reflection with the prior developer. So we went around and found ourselves a reputable developer to create a token and to make sure that everything is built securely and all of that. So we have now the token on testnet. We are currently setting everything up there and making it ready for final testing. And hopefully we will have that running by next week fully on mainnet. And after it's audited and everything is secured, then we are good to go on all fronts. Yeah, I guess that was the main points I had. We also, if somebody's interested in who are developers, it's a guy called Trynos. I can drop a link in to his associated groups if people are, interested in figuring out who is actually it is that we're hiring. I guess that was it for me for this time.
Thank you so much, Surian. So does anyone have any questions for Surian now and regarding the token? If you have a question, you can type it in the chat. Okay, no questions coming in. I don't see anyone typing. We can always come back to it if something pops up later. Okay, so next we'll be hearing about the creative contest, which is starting today. And Joanna, can you tell us how to participate in this creative contest?
Yeah. I mean, for the pre-sale whitelisting, we are trying to bring various ways where people can guarantee their spot to invest. So this is one way. The creative contest is a way for us, the Unbox team, that we found for people to bring their creativity and, to flex these creative muscles and to participate. It's going to happen on our Discord channel. There's one Discord channel with an emoji, an unlocked emoji that says "Get Creative." People will have to create original collages, images, GIFs, memes, videos with a theme that is Pandora's box and the Unbox token. And they will have to be submitted in this channel on our Discord. Starting from today, later today, we're going to release an official announcement that everything that I'm saying here will be written and clear in this format. And it starting today after the official announcement, it goes until next Tuesday, July 5th, giving then after that on Wednesday and Thursday 2 days for the community to vote in their favorite photos, images, GIFs, videos, because the 5 most liked creators, they're going to be the ones that are going to get the whitelisting spot, and they will be announced in our AMA on the 7th of July, on the Thursday. Yeah. So stay tuned, because later on we'll be releasing this announcement. Going to make a lot easier for you guys just to follow in and get creative and know where to post your creations.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Joanna. It'll be really fun to see what the community creates with the Unbox Pandora theme. Excited to see, because I know we have a lot of creative people in the group. So very exciting. Now we have some news of our AMAs, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now. So we decided to have weekly AMAs until right after the token launches, so we can keep you updated of what's happening during the week, and you can kind of track the progress with us. And then after that, we'll be moving forward with an AMA every 2 weeks. And so the next 2 AMAs are scheduled for, like Joanna just mentioned, the next one is Thursday, July 7th. And the one after that will be Wednesday, July 13th. And the time is 23:30 UTC. So mark your calendars. Speaking of calendars, we created a public Unbox calendar that you could subscribe to, where you can see our upcoming events, and not only our own AMAs, so you can know when they're happening, but also when the team is invited to guest speak in another group. we'll be posting those as well. And there'll be a lot more of that happening as we broaden our reach and our marketing efforts. So we'll send the link to the calendar, the Unbox calendar here in the recap after the AMA, and then you can also find it on our website. If you go to unbox.team, you can go to the news page and you scroll down on the page and you can see the calendar there, and you can also subscribe to it. There's a little plus sign on the bottom right corner of the calendar. If you click that, it'll give you an option to add that to your own calendar so you could stay connected with us and about the upcoming events. Speaking of the AMAs, we love to provide value and, things that you're interested in, valuable information and content that you like to hear about. And so we're inviting guest speakers and facilitating roundtable discussions at the end of our AMAs moving forward. So we had one last week that was really well received. We had Mongoose speaking. We have Deckard Gain today. You'll be hearing about in just a few moments. And one of the things that we'd love to hear from you is what are the topics that you are interested in listening to, discussing, or learning about? And so we sent out a form a few days ago in the main group. And so thank you so much for those of you who have already filled it out. That was very valuable information. And if you haven't already filled it out, it's not too late. We still would love to hear from you. We'll resend the link. And if you fill it out by this coming Sunday, July 3rd, you'll be automatically entered to win a prize of 0.05 BNBs, and we'll announce the winner on Monday, July 4th. So go ahead and submit your forms to us. You can tell us what topics you want to hear more about, and you can win a prize. Okay, so now let's see if there are any questions for, we
I
kind
have
of moved
something
through
to say.
Joanna's topic of the creative contest, but if there's any questions about that, thank you, Joanna.
I would just
Go
like
ahead.
to add something to what you just said now about the form. So what I just did was to forward the announcement. So it's just easier for who's listening here to just go to our chat and the form will be there.
Did we just lose audio?
I guess so. I guess we can go on. If there are no more questions, I believe we would like to invite someone very special. That is the segment for today's AMA. We would like to introduce you guys Deckard Gain. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Who's a DeFi DJ in Maxi. Has been an Anon crypto VC mentored by Sandhill since 2012. He's a valuable and trusted advisor to the Unbox Pandora. You can read a little bit more about him on the website. We have kind of a bio for our team members. So if you'd like to know more, there's some more information there. So he spearheaded eight
Joanna,
of... Awesome. So
if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. You want me to take over again?
Yeah.
I guess you want to do an introduction on Deckard and yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I could hear you guys. I don't know why you couldn't hear me, but I'm back. So I'll pick up where we left off. So he spearheaded 8 off-chain hyper-growth startups reaching 25 to 100 million valuations, navigating broad-scope multi-million-dollar budgets to drive long-term profitability. He has nearly 2 decades of experience navigating business legal compliance in North and South America and Asia. A business leader in launching previously unknown niche technologies into the consumer marketplace, he furnishes startups operational expertise to successfully navigate legal compliance and fintech product launch. Deckard Gain founded a biotech R&D company focused on technologies that reduce human suffering, clean the land, air, and water, and contribute a portion of all sales towards the humanitarian goal of providing clean water and education to underprivileged children worldwide and combating the sex slave trade. So Deckard, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So in our opinion, in your expert opinion, what is the current state of the crypto industry compared to other business niches?
Well, I would describe it as abysmal, to be honest. The statistic that I used in the name of this presentation is why do 92% of crypto projects fail? And that is not a made-up statistic. It's a true study that was done in 2018. And this is the absolute worst performance of any business niche that's ever been done. Nobody's ever been able to fail 92% of the time. The statistic in traditional business is closer to 10%, 10-15% of businesses fail, like every in a lot of industries, up to 25% and 30% in some, but no one has ever come close to 92% failure rate. So it's bad. And
yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. And it's not just the ruggers and scammers either.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
that's probably
hopefully,
what's so scary about the statistics, right? It's like even legitimate projects can end up in that 90%.
correct. Yeah, that study was done on close to 100,000 projects that had been launched over the course of many years, and that included scams and rugs and stuff, but it also included legitimate projects that had a technology solution to offer that still failed. And the study also found that the vast majority of the failures never even reached the 1 year mark. So not only are the vast majority of crypto projects failing, but they're failing fast, like within a few months.
Yep. Okay, that's the bad news, right?
Yep.
That's the really bad news. Oh, so yeah, anything else you want to add about that? Or do you want to talk about what is the crypto industry doing right? Is there anything good here?
Is there any good? Yes. Well, I mean, for one thing, crypto is providing a revolutionary emergent technology that is able to provide real life solutions to basically everything society deals with and every business niche there is in order to improve efficiency, reduce fraud, and make everybody's lives easier and more efficient. So that is a huge win, and it's definitely worth saving and improving. Another thing that I think the crypto industry is doing right is, the whole degen culture of DeFi, I don't think is all bad. My goal is not to turn everybody in crypto and DeFi into traditional business suits. I don't think that's the solution. And I'm going to talk about business professionalism and business skills and things like this. But I wanted to preface that when I talk about this, I'm not saying that we need to turn everybody in crypto into traditional corporate suit executives per se, in the exact same sense. There are benefits and value to degen culture, who is what has built crypto into what it is now. So it's not all bad, but there are definitely things that we can improve on.
Right. So let's talk about that. What do you think the crypto industry as a whole, generally speaking, right, is doing wrong? What are things?
So, putting aside the, scammers and ruggers, because there has always been scammers and will always be scammers in every industry. It's unavoidable. So that is not necessarily something that we can directly deal with in the sense of stopping people from trying to scam. What we can do there is educate investors to be able to identify and avoid scams. And that's the best thing that we're going to be able to do on that front. But the thing that we can have a direct impact on are the business professional skills and education that's required in order to actually start, run, and scale an actual business. So what we've got going on in crypto is primarily devs that can create a token or create a technology product, a DApp, or whatever it is. And it may have a use potential, may be valuable, but they have no clue how to turn it into a functional business because there is a ubiquitous lack of professional business skills in the people that are launching crypto projects and in devs that are launching crypto projects. And the general fact of the matter is that the vast majority of these people have no business experience, no skills in organization and infrastructure and budget management. And maybe most importantly, it's way up there, is investor relations is abysmal in the crypto industry. Investors are treated like apes in DeFi because it's partially because they act like apes. They are just willing to throw money at projects like Safe Inu Moon Elon rocket because it pops up on PooCoin. And they have no idea how to actually vet a project as a safe investment, and they just throw money at it, and they're willing to. So that's on the investors. And nobody is going to be able to change that except us as investors in the crypto industry and changing habits and doing things better. But the other side of it is the people launching projects. We have to elevate crypto to a higher standard of business management and professionalism. And that's something that Pandora's has demonstrated in like one example, the monthly budget allocation and spending summary that was provided to investors after the first month. This is something that's unprecedented in the crypto industry, but it's normal in off-chain real-life business. Investors expect to see how their money is being used, what's being done, and to be able to track how their investment is doing. So nobody is doing this in crypto. Nobody has any respect for the investors in order to treat them like actual investors instead of apes.
Right. Yeah, that's a great example, actually. transparency, especially around the financials, is really important. And I guess it's one of the ways that certain projects that are legitimate, like Pandora's, can differentiate themselves by bringing
Correct.
this level of professionalism to how they're communicating and relating to their investors and their community, most generally. So what are
Correct.
some other
And
examples, perhaps, that you've observed?
of things that projects are doing right.
Yes.
Yeah. So another example that is recent and relevant is the pulley token. I don't know if everybody is aware of or familiar with the pulley token, but they launched a play to earn NFT mobile game recently. And why this project is on my mind as particularly a good example of doing things right in the crypto industry is because the pulley token started out with no success. It was doing nothing. And then a real life experienced professional CEO, Mr. Lightspeed, came on board the project, and it has been flying ever since. And yes, he developed a strong team that contributed to that, but his professional business skills that he brought into the project are, in my opinion, what has elevated it to the success level that it's seen. And it's blowing up. And this is something that is extremely uncommon in DeFi specifically. It happens in blue chip crypto projects, of course, where they have a professional C-suite team and VC backing and stuff like that. But in DeFi, it almost never happens, doesn't exist. So there are valuable business administration skills that come from the professional world that we can bring into crypto teams without turning them into suits. Because I see, if you pay attention to chatter on Twitter, there is an endless flood of people complaining about a lack of professionalism in business and crypto, and being treated unprofessionally as an investor and all of this kind of stuff. And there's also a lot of chatter about how degens don't want to become suits. They don't want to have the corporate professionalism shoved down their throat, because that's not what built this industry to where it is. That's not
Right.
the degen culture. But I believe personally that there is a happy medium where degens can learn and employ professional business skills in the project, running it like a real business with projected budgets and treating investors with respect and maintaining full transparency and all of these things without turning them into corporate suits.
Right. Absolutely. I think that's, adopting those best practices that have been proven for a very long time in the business realm and corporate, in the corporate realm, and then just taking the best of that and not turning into somebody that they're not. It's not about that, right? And so that's a really good point.
Because exactly.
So what are you mentioned bringing those professional skills to crypto. What are some other solutions that you see could, that the crypto industry, let me rephrase the question. What are some solutions to what the crypto industry is doing wrong, besides what you've already mentioned? Are there any others you can think of?
Yeah, investors need to also educate themselves on vetting projects properly and understanding how their investment is going to be utilized and elevate their standard of what they invest in to a higher level.
Great. And I know you mentioned yesterday in the main chat that you had some like 5 Ts or something.
Yeah, correct.
Like
So
that you were going to kind of give. How do they do that? Yeah. How do they do that?
Yeah. So how can investors protect themselves in this Wild West DeFi market? Well, one way is by using the 5 Ts as a metric to measure every project you invest in. And the reason it's called the 5 Ts is because it's an acronym, so you can remember it. So the 5 Ts are team, technology, tokenomics, timing, and tokenization, or why tokenize. So the first one, team, the question you ask yourself is, who is involved? What have they built? What is their track record of integrity? How do they operate? Operationally, how do they function? How do they treat each other? How do they function as a team cohesively? And also, how do they maintain a brand image or persona of the brand cohesively? So how you can do that is, research every member of a team, of a project, and yeah, I know the vast majority of crypto projects are non-teams, but most people still have an anonymous online social profile on Twitter or something typically, or a track record in the crypto industry. We're not talking about the scammers that change their name all the time or whatever, but the real people in DeFi have an existing persona and track record, whether they're anonymous or not. And you can research that and get an idea of who the people are that are running a project. The next one is technology. So this is questions like, what is the technology solution that this project is offering? Is it an L1 protocol layer? Is it a Web3 dApp? Is it cutting edge? Is it outdated? Have we already moved past that in this fast-moving industry and it's no longer useful? But what is the actual technology that a project is bringing to the table? And being a meme coin is not a technology. The next one is tokenomics. So this is a question about the specifics of the tokenomics of the token itself. So what's the total amount? How is it allocated? Is it inflationary or does it have deflationary mechanisms? Very important to pay attention to is token allocation at a project's launch. So there are red flags that pop up with this very easily if there is too much of the initial token supply being allocated to the team or to an individual wallet that is going to become a risk of dumping. So these are things that you want to look for in regards to tokenomics. The next one is timing. So is this project relevant? Is the technology that they're bringing to the table relevant? Does the project's vision make sense both near term, immediately, and long term? And the last one is tokenization. And so this is basically a question of, why are you tokenizing? What's the point? Not everything needs to be tokenized on the planet. Personally, I'm not a fan of the whole move to earn trend that's going in crypto, that is basically tokenizing every aspect of life. I think that is going a little too far, but that's just my opinion. But this is an important question. Why tokenize? What problem does it solve to have this token? Many, many projects cannot answer that question. And so those are the basic 5 T's that you should look for as an investor and be able to answer confidently before giving them your money.
A lot of wise words. I just feel like popping in and saying that I see this also happening in stages. Like for every time we have a massive bull run, there is always a lot of new people coming in. There is a lot of new protocols, but there's also coming new tools to look into the projects, like bubble maps, for example, like how example, like how many of the wallets that is holding, there's 5,000 wallets, but how many of those wallets are connected to each other? Like there is a lot of metrics and things that you can do looking into a project that is already launched as well, that can give you certain securities in, as you say, like there is no algorithm that is just ready to dump on the project or something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And there's so many, you're very spot on there in the fact that there are tons of tools available to us now that allow us to do a lot more vetting today than we could years ago without being able to read code. The bubble maps is a great one.
What do you see as solutions in the near future that you can see coming up that crypto projects may adopt? Like now we're already seeing a shakeout that, like, we had one stable coin going out. We have potentially other stable coins that is on the edge of coming out. As in, like you have USDC now that is on the brink of liquidation, and a few others that is under heavy pressure. What kind of solutions can you see the crypto industry coming up with out of all of this? Like, what do you think? Like, I've seen a few cycles already, and I've seen that every cycle where we have massive shakeouts, the technology that stands and flourishes afterwards is the ones that builds these kind of either builds or have adopted technologies or ideologies. Is there anything that you see in that direction?
Well, one thing is that, to your point, I see these kinds of shakeouts over the years as being great for the industry. It separates the wheat from the chaff, so to say. And
100%.
And every time it happens, exactly what you said, the real technologies flourish and the vast majority of the garbage just gets thrown away. So I see them as a weeding out process and healthy for the industry. One thing that I would really love to see with stables is for someone to actually run a real stable coin with transparency and integrity that's actually backed by something they can prove. Because this hasn't been done yet, and I mean, I don't know if it's actually going to be done ever without some kind of regulation. I'm not personally a fan of government regulation of any kind, but I do see it as inevitable. I do believe that we are eventually going to see regulations step in around stablecoins, at least the bare minimum. I don't think it's an if, I think it's a when. And so, although I'm not personally a fan of the mechanism, I don't think there's anything that I can do or we can do to stop that from happening, and it's going to happen. And when it does, it will at least make stable coins more transparent and honest. Because everybody has always known that USDT doesn't actually have the money backing that they claim they do, because they've never been willing to prove it. But they still continue. And we've also seen recently with them, with it depegging as well, from everything going on. So personally, I don't think that algorithmic stables are the solution. They've all failed, as you all know. The only solution to the stable problem, I think, is a true, honest, and transparent stable coin operation existing.
Yeah, I think this and potentially one of the future, or probably, hopefully, and probably near future options is also basket currencies and basket assets. So it's like you have a series of assets and it can be valued whatever it is to USD or whatever asset, but it's not just one asset in backing.
That's very exciting stuff.
I see that as an emerging technology. Russia is already talking about it. They're now backing their currency to gold, and they're considering Bitcoin and a few other assets as a stable backing to the currency, which now we're actually coming back to real money and not just currency anymore, because now it actually has tangible value.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I'll ask a question if I can, Deckard.
Yeah, sure.
What do you think about NFTs after the last year and the way that everything went? Like, if I had to put a point in time, say, starting when the Beeple $69 million sale to Metacoven, like, let's say that was the start of the hype season, everything that's transpired since then, was it all hype? Is it over? And what's your view on NFTs? Is it all speculative? What do you think?
So I think that the current NFT market is speculative and, for the most part, really dumb. I'm not personally a fan of monkey JPEGs or anything like that, but I have seen the potential for the technology of NFTs to actually solve real-world problems for many years. But it's taking a while for people to realize it. There are definitely real companies out in the world off-chain that are utilizing NFT technology to solve real-world problems. It is happening. The agriculture tracking with NFTs, the cattle tracking, all of these kind of things that are actually going on in the world that not many people talk about when it comes to NFTs, because everybody only talks about monkey JPEGs. But these things are going on, and this is, in my opinion, the real value of NFT technology. I think it is severely underutilized at this point, and that we are going to see a migration in society to NFT medical records and NFT driver's licenses and all of these kinds of things eventually. It's just a question of when.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're touching on some quite interesting subjects here now, because I also see these the movements of NFTs, and like you have the baby milk production in Asia as example. That is like there's a lot of fake products. There's a lot of this, that, and the other. Like they're using NFTs to basically track it through from production of raw materials until the end producer, and it's that door, this initial market that I see the market push that we saw now is just the world becoming aware that something that like NFTs can actually exist, and soon we will have contracts in form of NFTs. We will have all sorts of legal anything that is just locked under a protocol essentially.
Exactly. I believe that's the future. I do not believe that monkey JPEGs are the future, but I don't care if people trade them. Have fun.
Question. If there were to be a critical NFT technology that you think would be paramount or should be first in line, what would you think it would be?
Me personally, I think agriculture and food supply and things related to that are probably the most important problem for humankind and society. And so anything related to that would be my first priority.
Right on. Okay.
Thank you. And this is great because I know that there's been a lot of questions about NFTs, and so we'll actually also be hosting a roundtable on NFTs, and because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to say. And we also have a question from Dream Heroes. He posted that in the main group. I'm going to read that for you, Deckard. In a number of different crypto projects, I've heard you're all holders, not investors, in reference to the amount of information that the market participants should be privy to. What is your response to that perspective, and what do you believe draws the line between those different classifications?
Yeah, great question. So part of the reason for this standard in the crypto industry is due to regulation. By calling investors holders and not treating them as investors, it protects a project from becoming a security offering, which is illegal in the US without being registered with the SEC and going through all of the stringent requirements in order to qualify to have investors. And so I believe in my observation over the years that projects have erred on this for one reason, for self-protection, in order to keep themselves from becoming a security. That's an illegal security. So the terms can be the terms, but I still believe that we can treat holders like they are investors. Okay, fine. We don't have to call them investors if it's going to create a legal problem. But we should treat holders with the same respect that we would an investor with a vetted and audited company that's registered with the SEC. We can still hold the same values and treat people with respect and transparency, and we don't have to call them investors, fine. Because I do understand the legal implications of using that term and getting yourself into the position of being defined as a security.
That's actually a really, really important point. So great question, Dreaming Hero.
I hope that
And I-
answers
and
your
I-
question.
It was a great question and great answer. I like your multi-level analysis.
Are there any other questions for Deckard while we have him live here? You can type it in or come on live on the call to ask that. Let's see. I don't see any others in the chat at the moment. Well, while we're waiting, Deckard, is there a way that our listeners can stay connected with you? You shared so much valuable information. They might be like, hey, I want to keep learning from you. So what's a way that they can stay connected with you?
Yeah, so the best way to get more of this kind of information and knowledge and news is to follow the Crown Vision Strategies Twitter account, which is @_Crown Vision. And I am one of the founding partners of Crown Vision Strategies. And our mission is to bring this type of knowledge into the crypto industry and elevate it to a higher level of professionalism.
Thank you for that. So needed. So we'll be posting that in the chat as well so that everybody can connect with you that way. Brilliant. Are there any questions? Last minute questions? I don't see anything here. Okay.
Well, I do have a statement, not necessarily a
Great.
question. I would like to shout out to Olo and Samuel and Kedrick as well. You guys have, as advisors for Pandora, you guys have provided a lot of extremely valuable information, and I'd like to put it out there that we are very grateful for your knowledge and your strategy.
Thanks, Viking. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
I echo
Absolutely.
that. And I echo that sentiment. Okay. So I don't see any other questions. I see that the link was posted in the chat. Thank you, Samuel. Brilliant. So thank you so much for being here, Deckard, and sharing your wisdom with us. That was really, really valuable. I hope and trust that our listeners will have some aha moments and learn some good stuff. And thank you also for our amazing team for being here today. Joanna, Surian, Viking, I see Majora was here, and Samuel, Kedrick, and then our holders. I'm gonna have to start thinking of calling them holders. But thank you for listening. And we do have one more thing to do before we sign off for tonight. So Joanna, are you ready with the clue?
Yes. So I'm going to share a clue for tomorrow's riddle. The word that is the answer to the riddle is in the Encyclopedia Britannica. It falls under the literature category. Already gives a good direction. Already gives a place to kind of search for answers. And that's all. Good luck tomorrow, guys.
Thank you. So the literature category.
Clues.
Brilliant. Thank you, Joanna. Okay, well, this concludes tonight's AMA. Thank you so much for being with us. And we will host our next one here in this channel as well on Thursday, July 7th at 20:30 UTC. Hope to see you there. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, our host. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Yes, thank you.